Morning, guys. Hello. So if you're listening to this in another part of the world, maybe good evening, good afternoon. I wanted to kick off my morning, of course, on the East Coast and start with a topic that has just been coming up left and right. It's been coming up in my free group. It's been coming up in direct messages on my Instagram profile. It's been coming up in messages from our coaches and, of course, wellness professionals that buy our programs. And, of course, it always comes up with the person who is either a brand new coach or you are moving your practice more to an e-learning. You're expanding to e-learning because maybe you're working brick and mortar and you see in the environment that we're in, not only the potential, but you see that you can also serve your clients in a more cohesive way. But as somebody said to me last week, who I was working with, who has a thriving practice, she is fully booked, but she also wants to be able to have the choice to either come into her brick and mortar. She wants to be able to expand more to doing programs and combining her program offers with lab testing, all the things that I hear from many of you. She said to me, but how do I show up and do a live? How do I prep for a workshop or a webinar? I've taught, but I've never done a live. And so I'm a little nervous. So this is for you. And of course, I'll tag you. And this is for anybody else who feels a little nervous about what do you actually do in a live. So I'm going to take you step by step, and then I'm going to show you some very simple ways to do it. Number one, I want you all to think about free tools. You're going to have to be really smart with the money that you invest when you're building your wellness business. So there are going to be a lot of different compartments, such as, starting your business and getting an LLC, starting your business and maybe having to either buy programs from us or you're buying disclaimers for your business. There are a lot of what I call these basic setup costs. What I want you to do is make sure that as you're building your visibility, you are also being really smart with the platforms, because there are so many free platforms that you can use. So when we think about doing a live, of course, you can do a live on Instagram, you can do a live on Facebook, and you can, of course, do variations of little lives, what I would call like little reels on TikTok and Instagram reels. So we want to think free platforms. Then you want to think, what do I need, of course, to hold my phone or hold the iPad while I'm screen sharing? One of the biggest and most scary things for people to do when they're either deciding that they are going to do a live a week and start to build their visibility, or of course, when they are doing a workshop, is I don't know what to say. So we're going to actually show you exactly what to say and how easy it is to do it. I just need you to know it doesn't actually cost anything. You don't need StreamYard. If you want to use a platform such as I'm using right now, it's StreamYard.com. You use it on Chrome. And it actually is a really great platform if you want to be able to stream to multiple places, and you don't have to pay a ton of money. You, of course, can stream onto Facebook with Zoom, but you need the webinar feature. So that's going to cost you a little more. So what do? Just when you want to go live and make it simple and not put any money, of course, into investing in a platform. So I have this tripod right here. I have, of course, better ones that hold my camera a little better, but you're going to see this. So whether it's your phone or whether it's an iPad, what I highly suggest in the next step is that you decide, give yourself like 5 to 7 days to actually promote that live. You can, of course, bring people to your Facebook group. You can, no matter what platform you're even doing the live on, you have different choices on where to direct people to even see the replay. So with this strategy, if you wanted to do all the replays, go live on multiple platforms, you could with StreamYard and have the replays, of course, in your Facebook group, building your community, making it easy for people to be able to go back and reference it, especially when new people come in to your ecosystem, which means they come in and, they're opting into any of your free stuff, or they're in that awareness, that you have them in that awareness funnel part where you're educating, you're teaching, so that you're knowing that you're going to lead them to a call to action, such as join my group, etc. You're going to just have a phone and an iPad. And like I said, give yourself a little time to actually talk about the benefits, talk about the promise, speak to your ideal client on their pain points. And so I like to say, give yourself 5 to 7 days. You can, of course, promote that in your stories. You can do a, countdown until we go live, get notified. You can, of course, do this in Facebook stories. You can, of course, though, create an event as well on Facebook. I talk a lot about Facebook because that's primarily where I built my business, where I built my community. But you'll always hear me also talk about YouTube, because still to this day, that's how I became an internationally known coach, was because people were Googling. And so you'll hear me constantly talk about video, because I want you to be doing videos so that people see that you are different from other people. So we're going to talk a lot about getting over this fear. So you're going to have your phone, you're going to have your tripod, you're going to go like this, clearly. And what I do suggest, and what I did, and this is super easy, is create an event on your business page. If you have in a group, of course, create the same event. You're going to use all of the same description, which is otherwise known as copy, to tell people the benefits of the workshop, which is really alive. And so you can do that on your personal page. There's an event section. You can do that on your business page. And of course, if you have a group, a community, do that in your community. Of course, the same strategies can really be applied to so many different platforms, as long as, it's kind of community based and you can do an event to let people know. So without us getting into any other ways to do events, let's just kick this off. So you're going to make the event. I highly suggest going to Canva, Canva.com. There is a free version. What that's going to mean is you get access, of course, to their templates, but you're not going to get access to their stock photos. The stock photos, as you see on the left, and if you've ever bought programs from us or our workshops, even the brand new workshops that we just did, like Love Your Liver and Your Metabolism Makeover, they actually have done for you Canva templates that we created for a personal page banner, for your business page banner, to just make it super easy. So if, of course, you don't have our content or you've never even used Canva before, the beauty of it is that you can just make one banner. If you have one of our templates, use it. Keep reusing it. This is what a time saver is. And of course, if you have the free version, you're going to have to look for free photos. If you pay $12.95 a month, you're going to get access to all of their stock photos, which, guys, I would say is a no-brainer. I know I've talked to a lot of coaches who buy stock photos. I know that I do. And this will be the last year, because Canva has made it super easy. So you're going to make that banner, because you want to let people know, even on your personal page, you can flip out the banner and be like, this week's live, meet me on my business page. You're just having to, in marketing, you want people, even if you're brand new, even if you're in a growth and scale phase, we have to tell people. People need to see it a few times because we're so busy. That is a rule of thumb when it comes to marketing. You will see that you can change out your personal page, as you see on my personal page, to just say, meet me over on YouTube, or I'm going, live on YouTube. Right now we're talking about going live on Facebook, but it's the same strategy. You want to be really smart with the work that you're doing so that the time that you actually have to build your work, it's going to really work for you, instead of hearing what I hear a lot of coaches say, which is, I put all this work into this workshop and nobody signed up. And I always tell them, well, did you talk about it for like a week in advance? Did you create the buzz around it? Did you tell people about the promises? And most often the answer is no. So I'm giving you just the advice that we all need, even if you're working with any virtual assistants, social media people. We need to talk about the benefits for somebody to want to actually take time out of their life or to trust you even with their email. Please understand that, as of even 4 or 5 years ago, people got smart and understand that if they give you their email, you're going to probably market to them a paid offer. If people show up to a webinar or a live or a workshop, they're taking time out of their day. So really help that person to know that you are the person they need to be following. And the only way we do that is to be consistently talking about those problems, the pain, the promise of this workshop or live. And of course, talking about like all the different, topics that you're going to be talking about, which means, before I say that in any other crazy way, let me just share my screen so that I can show you in real time. Because I hate when people talk in theory. That means that I have a really tough time, because I'm such a visual learner. I have a really tough time when somebody's trying to explain something to me and they're not showing me something. So if you're a visual learner, drop a yes, because I know I'm not alone. Okay, this is what I mean about talking about the topics. What you're going to do is, I've been hearing a lot of people talk about, something that's very near and dear to my heart, which is perfectionism and all the different ways that it's affected my health, my gut, my stress, my self-care, it affects us in all these different ways: our mindset, our work, our productivity, our weight. So a lot of people have been talking about this, and I said, oh, wow, like this is such a great workshop or a live or even a series of lives, because as you see, there's a good amount of slides here. So this can even be a series of lives. Like, hey, join me for this month for a series of lives we're going to be diving into. Those lives, guys, is how you're building visibility. Those lives is how you start to build your brand. You're really building like a healthy home for your business. You're laying the foundation for people to actually know that you're not just going to say things like, well, I help, men and women who are struggling to have confidence and find themselves, gaining weight and having no energy. I help them with 1, 2, 3 so they can ABC. That's essential for each one of us to know what we do. But in order for us to get hired, we have to start helping people see that there's value in hiring you. The way you make money is that you don't, of course, give value constantly for free, but you do, and nobody tells you this in the beginning, you do have to give a little more, because you're not anywhere searchable. Meaning, if I go to search your name, it's not like you have tons of videos on YouTube. You're starting from the beginning. It's not that you have a huge list. You're starting from the beginning. These free opportunities are your opportunities to build your visibility, your know, like, and trust factor, so people actually want to follow you. So let me just repeat that one more time. So they stop in their busy day or night, where they take away time from their family, or they take away time from their time at night to actually attend a live that you're doing. It's because you start to build trust. And as you start to build trust, because you consistently are sharing valuable information, valuable solutions, the pain, you know, the problems that they're dealing with, the obstacles in the day that they have, no matter what niche it is, and you're giving mini solutions. That's how we create a following. That's how we create a list that buys from us. So you're going to sit there and you're going to do a very short intro. For those of you who are really scared, it's okay. But guess what? You're not going to get through the fear unless you do it. So you're going to buy this in the week that you are promoting this. Let me just say this very clearly. And I also will make sure that this is not a long video and that we close out with a very simple action step. In the week before, because you know that you're doing this live in 7 days, you're going to go through each of these slides and you're going to write down the key points. Key point number 1, key point number 2, key point number 3. Key point number 4, 5. Here's 4 strategies. Wouldn't it be safe to say that a story that you're doing is 4 strategies to manage perfection? Wouldn't it be safe to say that if you sat there and you actually talked about how does perfectionism affect your niche, your ideal client, it would be safe to say that you would start getting my attention. If you wanted to do one live and you said, you know, guys, come into my group, I'm going to be doing this masterclass for free because I know how hard this time has been. Here is your masterclass. And you can have, of course, you could have a schedule form even right to your scheduler, or even a opt-in right below the masterclass and say, you know, if you want to grab this guide, click here. Let me just show you how you turn a live into a money-making machine. There are lives that, of course, you can do, just so everyone doesn't say, are lives only for money-making? No. But for those of you who are at that stage, you can also put, you know, a form right below, or you can even give a call to action like, hey, I'm selling this program and do it for a low cost. You know, I'm selling this program for only X dollars, or for only $37 or $67, because that's your entry into your higher ticket. For those of you who are, of course, building your visibility because you're scared, you're going to look at this as a list building opportunity. That means your goal is making more connections with your ideal client. And so it would make sense for you to have a form underneath that gives them a little more of what, a very distinct solution to, of course, their problems. And that form, once they opt in on the welcome email or the thank you page, can have a video from you, the download, and then, of course, you can follow up with a sequence of either working with you, a low-cost option, leading to a course, leading to a phone call, leading to your membership. But you can sit here and go right through it. What you're going to do, of course, is you have this. You want to make sure that it is sharing your screen so that it's very easy for you to go through the information. Of course, if you wanted to do this on a different platform like StreamYard or Zoom, little easier to share, but I can't tell you how many times I've done, you know, lives on Instagram doing it exactly this way because we don't have screen sharing tools. What you can do, of course, is say, you know, if you want to drop your email, I'm going to send you this guide. And this guide is, here you have 16 pages worth of information that you can, of course, give them in a thank you, like, hey, I wanted to give you this guide. Thanks so much for opting in. My story is, you know, my story started with perfectionism. My story started many years ago where I was, you know, a chronic overthinker, even as a child. This is what my life looked like. We always discuss when we are following up with emails. It's not rocket science. It is harder sometimes to develop the voice that you want to say to somebody, but it isn't rocket science. It's a conversation. That person opts in to that form, and you welcome them in that first conversation. You're telling them, what was life like? What happened? What did you do? My life was like when I was younger, I started thinking like this. I, got at 14, I get an ulcer. By 18, I had asthma. I'm sure you have a story, insert the blank. And so what happens in that beginning story is you're laying the foundation in that email one or that welcome email. Or even if you're doing this with no automation, you're doing this in your group, it's still the same. This is what I went through. It's helping your ideal client to identify with you, identify with some of the stories you shared. They may not be the same exact stories of your ideal client, but it's in these micro stories. That's what they're called. It's in these micro stories of your life that your ideal client starts to say, I can really identify with this person. Or, I didn't have an ulcer, but when I was 17, I got mono. I didn't have an ulcer, but, I remember my mom having these digestive issues. In our storytelling, it's when we evoke a feeling, a memory. It is the psychology of your buyer. It's where they start to build trust. They start to be more vulnerable in looking at the kind of information that you're offering. They're more vulnerable as they're asking themselves questions like, does my perfectionism, affect my life? They're pulling down their guard. And as they start to pull down their guard, because you've met them at like, here's a little about me. This is why I do this. Then they will go and either schedule with you, or maybe email 2 needs to come up. And email 2 gets to be like, hey, in this guide, I want to just show you, these are the strategies that I do in my home, or these are the strategies that I've helped my client with, or these are the strategies that I wish I would have had back when my health issues really got bad and I decided to attend X school. Just giving you real, what I call template kind of verbiage, but it's easier when you sit there and you think of it as a conversation than what's the perfect writing for this email marketing. Really think of your ideal client. Put yourself in their shoes. What does he or she on the other side, they've just opted in. They've just trusted you. What do they really need to hear from you? And I will say, most of us, that's our biggest problem. It's not that you don't know how to coach. It's not that you don't know what you've been through. It's that we're scared, for whatever reason, to let our clients know that we are human. And I will tell you, the best thing I ever did, and the reason I persevered through those first 2 years of making almost no money, is the moment that I really knew my ideal client was sitting there with a lot of the same thoughts that I had in my head, and needed me to let them know they were not alone, to let them know I've been in their shoes, to let them know that the road was not easy. But when they roll with me, when they work with me, when they join my group, when they join my membership, when they buy my self-paced course, when they digest a blog that I've written, when they do anything, they will hear a solution from me. I will always let them know how these things affected my life, or affected my friend or my family. And so when we do that and we let somebody actually know us, where we're leading them, whether it's a one-on-one or any opportunity, makes sense, because that freebie makes sense to your ideal client. You're teaching it to your niche, and people start to say, wow, that coach, she or he, always talking about high performance and perfectionism. Or, oh my God, that coach is so amazing. This is the hormone coach I'm going to buy, because she was talking about how perfectionism really led to her inability to heal her thyroid. Or I'm going to really hire this keto coach because I've worked with so many keto coaches who were this personality, and I never felt like I could trust this person. But wow, this person's talking about not just keto, they're talking about this perfectionism that usually has me like quit on my diet and to actually just say, screw it, or quit on my health goals. So that's why lives are powerful. That's why freebies are powerful. Opt-in freebies, your workshops, your social media. Don't say it makes you tired. This doesn't make you tired. What makes you tired is not knowing what to talk about or doubting yourself. That's where the tired comes in. You're not tired thinking about helping people. If anything, you're so fired up, you maybe will get to like me, where I said to my husband last night, I don't even have enough hours in the day to accomplish what I know I need to do in this world. And so when you have structure and you just push past that fear, you're going to go like this, boop, hit the live button, and you won't look back. And then at the end of the live, so we close this, at the end of that live, you can, because Facebook gives you an option if you're doing it from your phone, you can hit save before you publish. That, my friend, just then got put to your phone, which really is your camera crew. It's your computer, it's your social media manager. That just got put to your phone so you can repurpose that. What I'm also going to be doing later this week is I'm going to show you actually how to download that if you've already done a live and you want to repurpose it. Repurpose it means that we start playing like the big boys and girls. You might have one social media platform that you love to engage on. Many of my friends, it's Instagram. Many of my friends, it's TikTok. Many of my friends, it's Facebook. I mean, we're seeing Clubhouse these days. There are so many social media channels. I guarantee there's one where you really thrive in how you communicate there. Doesn't mean that your clients aren't in different places. And one of the things that I advocate, and I tell everyone, get over your fear of doing videos. Get over your fear, because if you're not building on a search engine machine platform, it's really hard then for anybody who's not in your backyard to ever find you. Because what's great is a video, once you do it live, can be right on YouTube. And guess what? In that description, just like I said the other day, you can put the benefits of this workshop, the benefits of that masterclass. And you can even in the description, because we talked about building your Facebook community, have a link, a bit.ly link, which shortens a hyperlink that says join my group, or you can give 2 calls to action, CTAs. Join my group, and if you want to grab the download for this guide, click here. That's as easy as content is. That is as simple as content is. You can learn a lot of different ways to do content. I will say this. I don't think I ever had a roadmap. I sat there and I said, okay, with my limited time, I'm going to have to let go of perfection. I'm going to have to know that I don't have it as fancy and clean as anyone else. But what I will know is why everyone else is spending their time on the fancy and all that. I'm spending my time dominating on social media. And I had no idea that my gut feeling, my gut intent, my gut kept telling me, put your stuff, Rach, on platforms that you search on. Ask people, where do they search for information? And looking back, it's probably one of the smartest things I did. And looking at left and right, the comments that I see everywhere in every social media group, talking about algorithms, changes, anything. Guess what? When you are on different platforms, doesn't mean you're exhausted and you are doing all this different content, all these different platforms. You're learning how to repurpose it. One blog for me was a video. One video was on a freebie. One video was on a workshop. One live became a video. We start to then see how we can turn our content into a machine so that we have more visibility, so that when somebody is searching for us or potentially want to hire us and they go like this to search, we have content that they can actually find. Further increases the conversion. I mean, that's a no-brainer. That's just sales 101. People are going to look for you if they are going to hire you at any price. $397 a month, $997 a month, $2,000 a month. They're probably going to search for you and see where else you show up. Common sense. Second thing is, why not have freebies and workshops on different topics? Because as long as they are solving the problem for your ideal client in your niche, you're testing your market. And so as you have more visibility, guess what? When summits come around, just like this happened with me, they're going to call you because you're the one that has more visibility. For me, it was people asked me to be on detox and gut summits. Why? Because all the content they searched for was on that. Our content allows people to understand what we talk about and what it would be like to work with us. So when summits come around, interviews come around, people are looking for you on podcasts. Guess who they connect with? Unless you are, of course, paying for somebody to do your PR and gain visibility and get you on TV and radio. They're looking for the person that shows up the most with the specific content that solves a problem for what? Your ideal client. And so every gig, every opportunity I ever got was because somebody found content, whether they were searching, search yourself, search your name, see what are the first links that come up. I think it's Facebook business page. I think it's LinkedIn. And then of course, maybe you're like me. You look at the text first and the links, then you go to the images, which most often are Pinterest. And then you go to the videos. Or you're like me. I go, right to videos if I want to learn how to do something, how to recover. I want to hear somebody tell me like why I'm having rashes. Why am I having rashes? Why am I all of a sudden, can't tolerate my perfume? Why do I have a headache? Why? All those whys for me, I just turned those into titles on, for videos, titles for blogs, titles for my talks. So every opportunity that I got, people asking me to do lunch and learns, they found me on Google. Found me on Google. Hippocrates, when they asked me to teach, found me on Google. They found a video of me talking about building a wellness business and what I wish I would have known. So please, guys, when you're thinking about creating your content, it can feel overwhelming. But when you just have that moment and you're like, I am going to do it scared, that is the healthy hustle. That's when we don't go into adrenal fatigue, paralysis, and you might have a week where you're like, and you're shaking because you're scared. But you know what? You're going to be fine. Because as I say to my kids and I say to myself, once you do something and you haven't done it before, you sit there and you're like, damn, I did that. And you put that in your cash register, your emotional success cash register. Because when times are tough, or you're tired, or you're launching, or you're in a growth cycle, or maybe stuff at home is falling apart and your 9 to 5, your corporate is killing you, or maybe you're homeschooling all your kids, there's always going to have stuff coming in. There's always going to have stuff coming in that takes you away from your goal, takes you away from being able to push through your fear and persevere. But when you have those things that you've done, like, wow, even though I didn't know how to do it, I did it. You start to then be able to overcome the bigger things. So I think that's it, guys. I really do. I think that is it. We are going to be jamming on this, I would say 365 days a year, because if you don't know the simple tools, all these amazing strategies that you guys use or that you've paid for, but you're not really using it because you don't even know how to master the basics and get past the fear. This and my approach in the ground level basic foundation will catapult you into whatever success you want and desire, because you'll know how to do it, even if you have no idea what the roadmap is. So we're going to be talking about this in my free group. My podcast, we are diving into this, and I'm going to put some events, of course, on my Facebook business page. Make sure that you guys just do what you need to do. It's not as difficult. So with that being said, I'm going to get going. It's been a pleasure, guys. As always, my name is Rachel Feldman. If you didn't know, I graduated from IN back in 2010. I know what it's like to be in your shoes. I know what it's like to have very, very limited money starting your business. But what I did is I invested properly. I did it in the places where I needed to, so that as I started to make money without feeling massively overwhelmed and doing it just without perfection, I got to where I am now. So no different. No different. Master the basics. Remember, perfection, sitting in perfection, just saying, oh, I've got it. I'm not going to go live because XYZ. That's just procrastination. It's just fear. Just be honest with it. And if you have fear, it's okay. You're not alone. It's okay. Just give yourself a break. Give yourself a big hug. Put yourself around people who play big. Find a tribe and, hold yourself accountable and do it. So guys, I will see you later. Peace out, guys. Have a beautiful one. Bye.